Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. We're going to get into the over-under spreads, but first of all, I want to say Merry Christmas. I want to say hit the like button, subscribe, and listen. The best Christmas present I got this year was hearing I help people during tough times. I help buy Christmas presents for the kids. Listen, that's the highest degree of praise you can put on me, and I appreciate I helped. I do my best for you guys, and I appreciate you guys helping me. We're up to 11K now, and it's just been phenomenal, and that's how you know we've been making money. This would never get to 11K if we weren't making money. First game, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the New Orleans Saints on Christmas Day. I personally like this. I know some people got their panties in a bunch about this. The over-under is 51.5. I got this going over because this has the fundamentals of going under. When we look at the game, when we look at the time of the game, when we look at everything, the way it's stacking up, you would think under, right? But no, this Minnesota defense is really, really bad. And they're to the point like they were at the beginning of the season. They can't stop anyone. They can't rush the passer. You got Eric Kendricks banged up. Harrison Smith's even looking like he's losing interest. So I think Drew Brees and the Saints have a big game on offense. I think the Saints offense is vulnerable, but is this Minnesota Vikings a defense the one to exploit that, the one to push Drew Brees up against that proverbial wall? And then I'm looking at this Vikings offense, and this Vikings offense is taking care of business. Justin Jefferson's been balling. You still got Kirk Cousins in the equation, and you always have to be cautious, but you add Dalvin Cook and Thielen into that mix, you got to think this is going to go over. Next game, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. The over-under is 54. I got this going over because firstly, let's start with Detroit's offense. I've always liked Tampa Bay's defense, but they can't cover anyone. And the only thing Detroit can do on offense is line up with 3 or 4 wide receivers and throw it. And I think that's what Bevel and Stafford are bringing to the table against Tampa Bay. You have to throw first against this defense. They're very, very hard and brutal to run against. And then you got Tom Brady. And do I need to say more? Against one of the worst defenses in the league. Patricia built this defense. Luckily, he's out of there, but still, Tom Brady's going to come in. He's going to rip stuff, and I expect another big game out of Antonio Brown. I'm going over here. Borderline money pick. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. Over under 49. Money, money, money. Money. I'm going under here, and listen, I still have respect for the San Francisco defense. I think they're going to come in. I think they're going to fight against the Cardinals. We know the war's lost for them. We know they're running postcards home with the return date. They're on Booking.com making the vacations. I still think San Fran comes out and plays pretty decent on the defensive side of the ball. But here's the equation people aren't taking into account with this over-under. Beathard's going to start, and I don't think that's going to do an awful lot. And you got an Arizona defense that's hungry, that's fighting for a playoff spot. Yes, this Arizona defense is vulnerable, but this San Francisco offense is really stop and start. They're not running it like they did last year. They got tons of injuries. And did I mention CJ Beathard? Under. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Las Vegas Raiders. The over-under is 47.5. I got this going under. And I think Tua will have a realization. And we don't know if his targets will be out, but his 2 biggest targets they were out against the Patriots last week. And Tua still made plays, but I think it will be harder against this Raiders defense. This Raiders defense can't cover anyone, but you got to work them vertically, and Tua's not really doing that. I think Mariota has a good game if he starts for the Raiders, but I see this being like a 24-21 game. That's where I see it. Not a lot of science here. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos at the LA Chargers. The over-under is 48.5, and I got this going over. I think Herbert comes in, and I think he's going to be in a gunslinging mood. On this Denver defense, they don't travel well. They don't cover well. And the most surprising thing about this Denver defense is They're not even getting a good pass rush. And I think Drew Lock, he's playing for his job. I always told LA, I always told the Broncos fans Drew Lock wasn't the guy. They're still thinking he's the guy. And Drew Lock can pull some things. I think he does pull a few things against the Chargers defense that really hasn't played all that good this year. But this over is more about Justin Herbert and what he's going to do. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets. The over-under is 47. Listen, when I first saw this game, I had this going over. But I'm going under because I've been riding this Cleveland defense all year, and that's the reason why I've hit so many money picks with Cleveland. It's not because of Baker. It's not because of Nick Chubb. There are parts of the equation, but the biggest part of the equation for me winning money on the Browns is just defense, and I think they come show up, and I don't think they're going to have a dance partner. Like, listen, I think Cleveland will put up 24 to 30 points, but I don't know if this Jets offense showed up. I think they blew their proverbial nut last week to beat the Rams. I don't know how much Darnold and company have left in store. That's why I'm going under. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Houston Texans. The over-under is 46. I'm going over. If this game was in late October, early September, I would say under. You don't got Joe Burrow in the equation, okay? But that's not the analysis here. I think this game turns into a little bit of a shootout. I think it's a close game. I think this is a game in the fourth quarter. And when you're looking at how Deshaun Watson is playing, he's one of the people are really sleeping on. Ever since Romeo Crennel's got in here as the intern, Deshaun's been playing great football. And I think that's going to continue. We're not going to see the Cincinnati defense we saw against Pittsburgh. I always felt like this Cincinnati defense was a sleeping tiger, so to speak. But I don't think they're going to wake and go full force on Deshaun. So I think Deshaun will do his part. And then the Bengals are playing a Texans defense that just doesn't have a lot of pride, in my opinion. And they also don't have a lot of talent, and they're very, very overrated within the league circles. So I think Finley will be able to put up his 21, his 24. He'll push it to over. Next game, we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, go watch my other videos, go watch my Vegas spread picks if you want to make this money. The over-under is 45 in Colts at Steelers. I'm going over. Now, you're going to say, Lawson, you've been predicting all week you think the Steelers defense is going to show up against the Colts offense. I do think they show up, but I think Berger and this offense get some things going. You're not going to run it against this Colts defense. But like I said before, if you go 3-4 wide receiver sets and really go aerial on them, you can create some yards. You can create some opportunities. I think Pittsburgh does that. And this Colts offense is resilient. When they haven't ran the ball like we all thought they would this year, but they can still run it. Come on, that's a good offensive line. Let's be realistic. But Frank Reich puts Phillip Rivers in decent position, so the Colts are always able to manufacture points. That's why I got this going over. Next game, we got the Chicago Bears. The Bears at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The over-under is 47. Money, money, money. Money. I got this going under, and I don't know. Listen, if Minshew start, you got to monitor the situation. If Minshew's starting, you go under. I told you that last week. The man just doesn't bring a lot to the table. I'm sick of him, and I've been proven right time and time again about Minshew. Listen, he's worse than Mike Glennon. There's no way around it. He is worse than Mike Glennon, and I think he's the reason why this goes under. And do I need to mention the Chicago defense that got a second lease on life? They seem rejuvenated. They seem to be back to business, and they will take out the business on Gardner Minshew. And this Jags defense fights, and they'll do enough against Mitch Trubisky. The Bears offense has been playing better, but I think people are going to get a little bit too much into hoopla and the Kool-Aid about this. Listen, they had a good game against Minnesota and Detroit. Come on now. Jacksonville has problems on defense, but they're not the problems Chicago can exploit. I'm going under here. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Washington No Names. The over-under is 44.5. I have this going under, but there isn't a lot of science. Dwayne Haskins is playing, and that's one thing that is weighing in my decision. The Panthers' offense is a catch-22. They put up a lot of yards, but when you have Teddy Bridgewater, you end up kicking more field goals and missing out on last possessions of the half or the game. And that will cost the Panthers in this game. I'm going to go under here. Next game, we got the New York Giants at the Baltimore Ravens. The over-under is 44.5. I'm going under. And I think the Giants defense, this is their bane they're going to go out with. This is a brilliant run defense from the New York Giants. And this is their week to show that. This Giants defense isn't the problem. They're just put in bad situations week in and week out. And then you hope you get Daniel Jones back, but I still got this going under. Listen, if Colt McCoy goes again, how much punch, how much bite is this Giants offense going to have? I mean, Colt McCoy's always been bad, but I've never seen him quite this bad. I'm going under. Next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Kansas City Chiefs. The over-under is 53.5. I'm going over because you got the Chiefs, you got Mahomes, you got Tyreek the Thrill Hill, you got a bunch of major artillery against a secondary who's been playing better with Raheem Morris, but I'm not ready to say things are fixed. On this Atlanta offense, I think they'll do some things against this Kansas City defense. Atlanta doesn't have a lot to play for, but you know what they do? Their offense always starts ticking week 14 when they're already out of the playoffs. I think we see a good Atlanta performance on offense. I'm going over, although they do kick a little bit too many field goals for my liking. But, you know, that's Atlanta. Next game, we got the LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. The over-under is 47.5. I got this going over. Let's start with the Rams offense. They need to respond, and I think they will respond in a big way. You can't look in the rearview mirror and just keep thinking about the Jets game. You're not going to win money betting this week over analyzing last week. Yes, you need to take the film into account. Yes, you need to take the conditions into account. But you can't summarize. It's like summarizing a person, judging them based on one bad day they had. It just doesn't work, and it's not really fair. So I think this Rams offense is going to respond against a really bad Seahawks defense. Let's not forget that. Like, people are probably thinking the Seahawks defense is getting better because they stopped Dwayne Haskins last week. And then also, the Seattle offense, they need to do some things. They need to pick up the tempo. They need to be more explosive like they were earlier in the year. I think they can do that against the Rams. But I'm going over on this more so because I think the Rams offense responds. Next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. The over-under is 49.5. You got the Dallas defense. That means over, right? No, I'm going under. And we're seeing the type of football Philadelphia is playing now that Hurts is the quarterback. They're running the ball more, they're controlling time of possession, and they're getting their defense rest. Okay, I know the Philadelphia defense was an absolute shambles last week, but they did make big plays, they did get pressure, and they did force turnovers. I think that continues against Dalton and company. And I don't think this Philadelphia secondary will be exploited as much as they were last week. Andy Dalton's decent, and we know they got CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, but I don't think this Philadelphia secondary will be exploited. I got this going under. Also, I think Philly has a good day on offense, but it's going to be more time of possession, and they're going to work short passes. Dallas's linebackers are really, really bad. They can't cover anyone. So I think it's just going to be long 8-9 minute drives by the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. I'm going under. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Green Bay Packers, over under 56. I got this going over because I think this is the game people finally see what this Green Bay team is made of. I think Aaron the Game Rodgers will do his part, but can this front seven stop Derrick Henry and the vicious deep pass play action that Tannehill works off of that? I don't think they will. I've been saying all year, this Green Bay front seven, they're not as physical as people think. They're not as good as people think. And now they get their test with the beast Derrick Henry running straight forward 30 times in this game. And then did I add that you got A.J. Brown creating tons of separation in play action? Yes, the Green Bay secondary has Jair Alexander, but who do they got out of that after that? Green Bay will make big plays on offense against a Tennessee defense that gives too many up. But also, this Tennessee offense is going to come to play. This is December. This is a cold weather game. The Titans' playoff life is on the line. You're going to see lots of points this game. This is a shootout. I'm going over. Last game of the weekend, we got the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. The over-under is 46. I got this going under because I don't think this Patriots offense is going to show up and ball. Right now with the Bills, don't you kind of have to mark their offense down for 27, 30 points at least? So I marked them down for 27, and I'm not seeing how we're going to get up to this 46 with New England. I mean, you could picture a 27-20 New England loss in this game, and that'll bring you 1 over 46. But I'm going to go under, and not a lot of science here. Guys, have a great Christmas. Check out my Patreon for every bet I make. Check out my new soccer channel, link in the description. And listen, it's been a great year getting money with you guys, and I hope you stay with me in the off season. Subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos. This is the best gambling show on the internet. Thank you for the 11K, guys. Keep sharing those videos.